Jalen Reeves-Maven. So, voted on by their teammates, and every one of those guys are worthy of that position. That's an honor. We're fortunate to have a lot of guys that are really, I would call leaders on this team. So we're in a good spot, but congratulations to those guys. This is the last day, red zone. Real good work, and then we're off. Clean up tomorrow, and we travel. So guys are getting excited. I know the coaches are too. Questions?
Dan, we talked to Bugs yesterday. Said he's been told he's not going to be active for this game.
Who's that? I'm sorry.
Isaiah Bugs.
Oh, yeah.
It's a 13-game starter last year. So is this a case of a player that didn't live up to the standard, or the guys around him maybe raising the floor?
Yeah, look, we base everything off the tape, period, So I've spoken to Bugs, and that stays between us. And but yeah, we feel like we're guys that are best prepared to go this week for this game. Those are the guys that'll be up.
There is a clear pathway for him to get back and to having a role, though.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been told that, but it's no different than, honestly, any of these players, and that includes practice squad players. We tell them, you have an opportunity, make the most of it, and you got to show us in practice. And I just go back to James Houston. There's a reason why we activated James Houston. It got to the point where the guy. We couldn't ignore him anymore. He just kept making plays in practice. He keeps stressing our offensive line, and he earned his right to get up there, and he proved that. So any player that's on this roster has an opportunity.
One of those guys that obviously showed good tape was Levi. Just how excited are you for him with what he's been through over the last year to now have this opportunity to be back, and it sounds like he's going to be able to contribute for you guys?
Yeah, real excited. Certainly happy for him. He's been through a lot, and through it all, the guy's never, he's never complained. He's never, I know it hadn't been easy, but he never gave in, and he just kept looking for solutions. He kept working. He kept trusting what was being told, and man, he's worked his way back, and his body feels pretty good, and so now, because of that, he's out there on the field. He's developing, like he's really coming on now. He gets better and better every day, every game, every rep. And so now, man, the real growth begins, and that's a credit to him. He puts the work in, and so I'm happy for him. I'm happy for us. He helps us. He upgrades us.
How do you prepare your guys for the environment that Thursday will be? Banner raising, that stadium, the electricity and everything. I know you played there in 2001. I think it was the first game after 9/11. Is there anything to draw from that experience that could maybe help now? Yeah,
I've played there, coached there, and I just go back. It's an unbelievable environment. It really is. It's man, to go on the road at a place like that, I just what I told my guys, man, embrace it, enjoy this. This is not as stressful. This shouldn't be stressful. This should be, man, just, man, take it all in. Enjoy the sunlight, if you will. I know it's at night, but it's just, when you're a true competitor, to go on the road in an environment like this, man, I think it really brings out the best in you. And so we know what we have to do communication-wise. That's the big piece of this. And honestly, it's no different than any other game. Once you get through this early portion, even the openers on both sides of the ball, and now you're into the flow of the game. And so, man, we just got to stay steady, consistent. No, don't get too high, don't get too low. And they know that. We could be down 14, we could be up 14. And you got to play every play. And just relax, put the last one behind you, and just keep playing football,
I want to go back to the captains for just a second. So third different offensive lineman that's been a captain that's on this roster, and I don't think it'd be weird for Jonah Jackson or Vaitai to be a captain in a different situation. So I guess what does that say about that position group to have the depth of leaders on that?
Yeah, it says a lot, and that's man, we have a ton of those guys, particularly on the offensive line. I mean, Frank, Deck, Jonah, to your point, V, who's been here, and so I think it's an outstanding core group of guys that do it the right way, and they all pretty much lean on each other, and so it says a lot. I feel like we're in a really good place with our leadership here. I really do.
As it pertains to the environment and kind of the banner raising, how can you utilize that psychology of here's a team that's been to the mountaintop and you guys are one that wants to get there, for you guys to really kind of absorb all of that and what the Chiefs have gone through?
Yeah, I mean, I think, I don't know how much you use it other than, just to know that it's going to be somewhat hostile and everybody's against you. And the only ones rooting for you are your own guys, your coaches. And everybody else is just dying for you to mess it up and make mistakes. And, so they can jump on it and have a good time. And I think our job and what they should really relish in is, man, trying to, quiet the crowd. That to me is the ultimate. If you can quiet the crowd because you're making plays and you're just hanging in there, that's that's really the goal, because that means you're doing some good things.
Chiefs' run of success sort of started with, I think they beat New England in a banner-raising game 6 years ago, 7 years ago, whatever it was. They point to that maybe as like a springboard for this whole thing. I don't know, can this game be that for you, for this program? Sort of.
I don't want to go that far, really. I don't want to get too caught up in that, because this is 1 out of 17 games, and this is the first one, and I get that because it's Thursday night, it's the first one, the Chiefs. Man, for me and for our guys, the important thing is, man, you win this game, that's a win. That's win number 1, and I think that's what, because you win that and then you don't the next week. Well, then so to me, it's just take it one game at a time. And this is the next one, and it's the most important one because it's the one right in front of us, and we take it as it comes.
Yeah, we probably get to talk about football with you the next time you step in front of a microphone. Is it possible, though, to look back at the last month and a half and think you might have had more attention on you than you did even last year with Hard Knocks here?
No, I haven't. I haven't really thought of that at all. And honestly, I'm not concerned with any of that. There again, I do a pretty good job of just staying in my shell with my guys, and I just, I know what I need to do. The coaches know what they need to do, the players, and so we just let's trust in what we see, what we're teaching, what we're coaching, and what they're able to do, and then what the film says. And that's what I worry about. That's what we all worry about and think about and focus on.
Mosley these first couple days, and
Yeah.
a sense of whether he can
Encouraging.
go on.
It's been good every day, man. He's getting his legs back under him. He's getting, he's been getting some reps out there, and then he took some one-on-one reps the other day. That was his first kind of taste of it, and so you can tell he's got a big grin on his face. He's starting to feel pretty good. So, here we are, a couple of days, really 3 days after the fact, and he's feeling pretty good. So he's getting better.
Any sense of Thursday for him?
He'll definitely play this season. There's no doubt. I believe that with everything, Justin.
To go back to the defensive tackle position, it seems like Benito's probably in for a bigger role on Thursday. So what have you seen from his game, specifically from last year to this year? Yeah,
I would tell you he's really improved. I mean, he's been another one of those guys that's just been kind of it feels a little quiet, but he's the guy when you just every day he's made improvement, from the spring till now. Just his fundamentals, his technique, he's been able to anchor in the run. He can push the pocket in the pass. So I just think fundamentally he's been better than he was last year. And so there's a level of consistency that he's had that I think everybody in this building is seeing.
Last one, guys.
You know, one thing that your offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson, mentioned over the weekend was using Jamar Gibbs in some unexpected ways. What dynamic does Gibbs lend to this offense?
Well, we'd like to believe he's a pretty versatile player. There's things he can do certainly in the run game, but also in the pass game. So I can't tell you what all that would be right now. I'd rather not do that, but I don't know if he'll line up at punter, if that helps. But he does have versatility, and but this is also his first game out, and so we want to be smart with how we use him. We certainly don't want to overdo it, but we want to have enough in to where we know he can help us win here. So, but he's in a good place. He's had a good week of practice.
Hey, Dan, your first two season openers, they were at Ford Field. This is your first one on the road. You're always amped for games, but is anything a little bit different opening the season on the road for you?
No, I think just there again, it's the offensively the communication piece, right? Knowing that you're not going to be able to go verbal, and so that's really the difference. Is knowing, all right, well, right out of the gate offensively, we have to be ready to communicate. And really, it's no different than if you're at home. Our defense has to be ready to communicate non-verbally, right? Because your own crowd, our own, Ford Field, which we'll worry about Seattle. That's where our defense now has the. So there's always a give and take, if you will. But to me, that's the most important piece of this is the offensive communication. I feel like we've been really good now. 3 days in, we got the speakers going out there. We're blasting. We got two sides of it, and we've got them driving the carts down. So we make sure that it's nonstop chaotic and you can't hear yourself think. Because if they can handle that now, they'll be ready Thursday night.
Golfer, right? When you go silent, like who does that fall on primarily, I guess?
Yeah, well, certainly most of it is golf. He's the one who steers the ship there. And then Frank obviously has to be right in unison with him.